When I read these Am I the A-hole threads from women, it's like women are asking for permission to feel certain ways when they are being wronged by the people in their lives. You guys will, this Am I the A-hole thread, it has a few different edits. So I'm just going to read through some of this. This is kind of wild. This woman says, Am I the a-hole? My husband hasn't spoken to me in a week because he wants to visit his sister and I don't want him to because we don't have the money. Now he won't speak to me. Okay, so she is trying to figure out how to handle the silent treatment. Recently, my husband got mad at me. He wanted to spend money we didn't have to go visit his sister out of town when we had bills to pay and we were headed that way in a few weeks anyway. I didn't say no, we just have no money, and I wanted him to wait. I can't even buy my kids what they need, and he wants to go on a trip. Now he won't speak to me. He barely acknowledges that I'm in the room. It's been a week. He will only talk to me through text, and that is only necessary things, kids and bills. He does this often, and I can't take it anymore. How do I handle the silence treatment? I usually keep trying to talk to him until he makes me apologize, but I just don't have it in me anymore, and I don't know what to do. Am I the a-hole? Obviously, we know that she's not the a-hole for this, but let's continue with some of this post. Her first edit. He wants to see his sister now because she's out on bail and he's curious about the details. Her phone is tapped, so he wants to see her in person. She'll be out for a few months waiting for trial, and we're going in a few weeks anyway. She's not alone. She has family with her and friends to help her, so I don't feel like it's an emergency to take for bill money, but he does. FYI, to me, his behavior is normal. We've been together since elementary school, and I don't know anyone or anything else. I have no family or friends. I just thought it was me being too sensitive. When I do many of these stories, it is important to understand, and I am reiterating this because I've said it before, a lot of people's baseline for what is common sense, it is not the same. We are not the same, especially if we were raised in a home life that was erratic, unstable, traumatizing. A lot of people, if you do not have friends and family that cared and supported you through things, your baseline for what is common sense is not the same for people that have grown up in an unstable, unsafe, and insecure life. I just want to keep that in mind because she sees him being erratic as her norm. Okay, update. He finally blew up. He said that if I just agreed with him all the time, he wouldn't get angry. So the fights are all my fault. Y'all, this is gaslighting. Now he's back to the silent treatment until he feels I've made it up to him. But I have to figure out what and how and when he'll speak to me again. I'm learning to appreciate the silence. Understand that there are several things happening in this. There's gaslighting, there is financial abuse, there's all kinds of manipulation, and these are a bunch of red flags. I do these stories because I want women to understand what these red flags are. This is not a healthy dynamic by any stretch of the imagination. Update number 2. I am so completely overwhelmed by the responses I've gotten. I didn't expect to get this kind of feedback. I honestly thought I was the a-hole. I thought I was going to post this and a few people would comment and then that I would be a total a-hole and go apologize. I'm in shock still. I'm reading every comment and taking them all to heart. I'm still processing how wrong I've been about everything. There's so much that goes on, and if the silent treatment is wrong, then everything else must be worse than I realized. The silent treatment isn't as bad as it gets. I really had no idea. Thank you to the people who have messaged me with support. I need it and appreciate it more than you know. And to the people who have messaged me to insult me and tell me I give women a bad name for staying in this situation. I can't say that you're wrong. I should have known, and I feel like a complete fool. Thank you all again, and I'll update. As of now, he's still not speaking to me. Now, that last part is so challenging and is so hurtful because you see how she took insults and she embodied them and she agreed with them. Understand that she is probably doing the exact same thing when this man in her life insults her. She says, you guys are right I am a complete fool. Recognize that if you just listen to how this woman is speaking, she is used to being beat down by insults and negativity, and she is embodying it as if she deserves it. I will have to go and see if there has been another update, but this person speaks to what I wanted to say. This will get buried, I'm not sure, but I wanted to say don't you dare feel like a fool just because you didn't recognize the abuse. It's not your fault that you have been emotionally abused at the very least, but please do not stay just because that's all you know. That's something known as the sunken ship fallacy. I stayed 19 years for much the same reason, and it's my biggest regret. It was only emotional and mental abuse for the first 15 years, then it started to get physical. I didn't even realize a lot of it was abuse. I left my home of 15 years with 2 bags of clothes and started over in the city where I had no family and friends at 40 years old. It was terrifying and also the best thing I've ever done. Today, I have a happy, healthy relationship and a life my kids and I are both happy with. If I can do it with 4 kids at 40, you can too. Please leave for yourself and for your kids. Your kids learn how to have relationships by watching you. You don't want them to learn to stay in a bad relationship because it's all that they know. You can make a new life. Don't get me wrong, it was the hardest thing I've ever done, and I struggled hard for 4 years, but it was worth it. And what this shows is that you do not want to keep creating a cycle that normalizes staying in these insecure lives, especially once you have the clarity to know that it is not healthy. So this is how the OP responded. I'm so glad I saw this. I'm also in my 40s with 4 kids. I'm about to turn 42. I've been with him since I was 10. First as a best friend, then he wanted me to be his girlfriend. I didn't want to. I didn't like his temper, but he literally wore me down until I gave in. Well, kind of. He kind of manipulated me into saying yes, but that's a whole other story. Since middle school, we've been together and no one else. I found out years later that other people were interested in me, but they were so scared of him, so I never knew. I thought no one liked me, so I had super low self-esteem. Recognize that this is the reason why some women do not leave. I know that it's hard for people who have grown up in a healthy dynamic with healthy self esteem, with supportive parents, to understand what other people go through. But it is important to hear other people's narratives and other people's stories so that you can develop some level of empathy for other people who did not grow up like you. That is the reason why I continue to share these stories. And I will go back and see if I can see if there's been an update on this woman, if she's left him, what her thought process is. But at least it is now clicking in her mind that this is not normal and this is not healthy. You guys go ahead, jump in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, share.